You've got to be a particular type of individual, I would argue a particularly sick and twisted individual, to use a genuine crisis impacting your family, potentially destroying the family business, to try and make this about you, to try and score some petty and pathetic points, to try and sell your product. But I don't think you'll be surprised when I tell you that is exactly how Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been behaving in the 24 hours since the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, a situation that plunges Harry's dad's, King Charles's reign into the most perilous place it has ever been. Indeed, many say this is the most perilous place the British royal family has been in modern history. So if you're Harry and Meghan, who, by the way, cannot take the moral high ground when it comes to Andrew, have you seen a statement from them criticizing the disgraced Duke? No, I didn't think so. Guess what they do after what happened? First, Meghan decides to punt some new product with a little nudge to what's going on. I'll tell you about that in just one moment. Second, Harry gets his goons to brief People magazine, which we know just operates as a propagandist for the Sussexes, to say, oh, this was just so unfair on me. This was so unfair on me. Here's the headline. Prince Harry frustrated by comparisons to Andrew, whose arrest is embarrassing for the entire family. So there he is, putting the boot in, with an insider saying Harry has long resented comparisons to his uncle as Andrew's arrest reverberates through the royal family. Well, let me just tell you for 1 second. There are so many comparisons between Harry and Andrew. Remember, Andrew at this stage has been arrested for misconduct in public office, not for any sex trafficking offences, although that may come, given that there are multiple investigations going on, given that police continue to search one of Andrew's royal residences over this coming weekend. So I'm not saying that this isn't going to get worse. But what William and Catherine have said for a long time and warned the king about for a long time is that the behaviour of Harry and Meghan echoes that of Andrew and Fergie just 30 years ago. Because they're desperate for money too. They're getting in with dodgy characters too. They're using their royal titles too. So I'm sorry, there are parallels. But here's the briefing from Team Sussex, who decided that yesterday was the day to put the boot into the British royal family, to People magazine. Prince Harry has long felt frustrated by comparisons to his uncle, former Prince Andrew, a sentiment sources say predates Andrew's arrest, but now offers insight into how Harry has viewed the family's internal fault lines for years. He was frustrated by the comparisons. It was never fair to lump them together, an insider tells People. Harry served his country, did the job well, and never engaged in misconduct, yet lost security and housing, while Andrew was protected for years. I sort of disagree that Harry has done the job well and never engaged in misconduct. I mean, I would argue that it is serious misconduct to falsely claim that an institution is racist, to try and bring down an institution with lies, and then all of a sudden when you've realised you've lost the battle, to completely do a 180 and backtrack without the mere hint of an apology. But the People propaganda piece went on. That contrast has taken on renewed relevance following Andrew's arrest on Thursday, February the 19th, which sources describe as embarrassing for the wider family. Well, yes, of course it is. In this moment, it's sad and embarrassing for the entire family, the insider says. It leaves a stain on everybody. Okay, well, I do agree with that. It does. It also leaves a stain on Harry and Meghan, who, as I say, have not released any type of statement condemning Andrew. As for Harry, the insider says his reaction would be consistent with long-held beliefs rather than a response to the arrest itself. Harry believes in justice and accountability. That's very much in line with his character, the source says, noting Harry's multiple court cases in the UK in recent years against the UK tabloid press. Well, look, we're going to come to that later. But to try and say that what Harry is doing in the British courtroom at the moment is anything to do with justice and accountability is a joke. I have been following the testimony inside the UK High Court across the week. What Harry is actually trying to do and what Harry's team are actually trying to do is destroy the reputation of very, very good journalists, one of whom is dead. That's how low this scumbag is going. So don't talk to me about him believing in justice and accountability.
Tonight on the Crown Report, tensions are exploding across the Atlantic. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are under fire after critics claim they're using the Prince Andrew scandal to take a swipe at the British royal family. And insiders are calling it a shocking new low. Sources say the Duke and Duchess of Sussex are subtly positioning themselves as the ethical alternative to the firm, while the monarchy continues to battle the fallout from Andrew's disgrace. But is this about accountability or revenge? Royal watchers argue that invoking Andrew's scandal, whether directly or indirectly, reopens deep wounds for King Charles and Prince William at a time when the monarchy is already under immense pressure. And now questions are swirling. Is this a calculated PR move from California? We're getting the very latest from the United States with celebrity insider Rob Shooter of Naughty But Nice on Substack. What are Harry and Meghan really thinking? And how is the palace responding behind closed doors? This royal rift just reached a whole new level, and the fallout could be massive. If you want the truth behind the headlines, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an exclusive update. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are Harry and Meghan standing on principle or stirring the pot? Stay tuned. This story is just getting started.
Then we come to Meghan, who decided to use this opportunity to try and sell a product. And she was making a point. It was very obvious that she was making a point. As Tom Sykes of the Royalist Substack put it, Meghan taunts Andrew with cozy tonight's plan post. Ouch. Sykes went on, you may recall that Harry wrote in his memoir that he and Meghan were discussing the possibility of losing security, which he also said, not in the wake of my uncle Andrew. He was embroiled in a shameful scandal, accused of the sexual assault of a young woman, and no one had so much as suggested that he'd lose his security. Whatever grievances people had against us, sex crimes weren't on the list. Meghan took the opportunity to subtly remind us of the difference between them and the Yorks today with this mail shot from her As Ever brand. It said, soothe your senses. And then she decided to include a tip. And she clearly thinks her audience is stupid. I mean, listen to what her tip is. Add a spoonful of sweetness to your night too. Stir As Ever honey into a mug. Spoon it onto a little late night toast. Or build a cozy snack board with whatever's in the pantry. Thank you for that, Meghan, but we understand the point that you were making. Now, of course, what the Sussex squad are doing is trying to use that one quote from the autobiography Spare to suggest that Harry and Meghan have in some type of meaningful way ever spoken about Andrew. Ellie Hall, do you remember her? She used to be a propagandist for the Sussexes. I think she worked for BuzzFeed until she was sacked. And she's used that line as well. But let me just tell you something. That was one line in Spare. There was not a single mention of Prince Andrew, that's what he was then known, in the Netflix documentary, in the Oprah interview, in the Anderson Cooper interview, in the Tom Bradby interview, in any of Meghan's multiple magazine interviews. Because she and he didn't give a damn about Andrew. What they cared about was trying to take down Charles and take down Camilla and take down William and take down Catherine. So this rewriting of history going on is utterly infuriating. I mean, you remember I reported a lot at the time about what was really going on because I'd broken the story of Megxit. And I know for a fact that one of the reasons that Beatrice and Eugenie effectively sided with Harry and Meghan over William and Catherine at that time, that was a decision I think the princesses will come to rue, but at the time they did. And it was in part because they wanted to almost guilt trip Harry and Meghan into not turning on Andrew. And they were successful in doing so. But there's another Sussex Squad conspiracy theory, and I don't usually use that term actually, so I'll just call it a lie, because in my view, conspiracy theories usually come true. And I'm often called a conspiracy theorist, and I would argue it's a truth teller. So I'll take that back, and I'll just say a lie being spread by the Sussex Squad is this, and it's also being perpetuated by Ellie Hall. So let me just take you through it. Onye Nkuzi wrote, I don't usually talk about these things, but I have a feeling that British tabloid media piled it on Harry and Meghan to deflect attention away from Andrew. And Ellie Hall, the purveyor of Sussex Squad lies, added, I have always found it interesting that one of Harry and Meghan's worst royal media cycles, their use of private jets in August 2019, began the same day new pictures of Prince Andrew at Epstein's New York home in December 2010 were published. Okay, can I just clear this up once and for all? Without the British media, of which at that time I was a part, because they used to do a good job then. I mean, I think now the mainstream media are lost, but this was back in 2011 when I was actually working at the now departed News of the World newspaper. And without us and without our investigation back in 2011, there would be no pictures of Andrew and Epstein walking through Central Park in New York together. This story would never have been revealed to the world, ever. It was only these pictures that did so. And then it was the Daily Mail group which procured the picture of Virginia Giuffre with Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell taken by Jeffrey Epstein. Without those two pictures, there are no Epstein files, there's no Epstein arrest, there's no Epstein fake suicide. So spare me this absolute insane lie that in some way stories about Harry and Meghan were created to deflect attention from Andrew. You can have two types of bad behavior. You can cover two stories. Go and look at my bylines about this over many years, where I have dedicated huge amount of time and energy to reporting and uncovering what was really going on with Andrew. But it doesn't excuse the behavior of Harry and Meghan. And I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have this rewriting of history. They wanted to destroy the British royal family, and they still do. And I'm not defending Andrew for one moment, but what I would say is that it's very clear that his behaviour has been utterly stupid, utterly disgusting, utterly disgraceful, but it hasn't come from a place of wanting to tear down the monarchy itself. There's also so many lies when it comes to Meghan. I mean, seriously, why did David Boys, then the lawyer for Virginia Giuffre, Andrew's accuser, want her to give evidence, for example? And as Meghan's mole posted, Meghan pretended she had no clue who Andrew was, despite stalking Eugenie. The only idiot who believed this was Harry. And I agree with that. I really do. So to suggest that in some way what is going on with Andrew, which I have devoted hours and hours of coverage to, I mean, yesterday we were live for, I think 5.5 hours covering every single detail of this arrest. But do not try and say that that means Harry and Meghan should get away with their unique, disgusting crimes against the British royal family, because I am not having that. I am not allowing history to be written. The mainstream media might, but I am not. And I want to bring in now Rob Shooter. He is, of course, the former royal courtier turned author and entertainment reporter extraordinaire. He is behind the Naughty But Nice Substack. And Rob, you have been all over this story too. And of course, we are going to get to all of the latest developments on what the hell is going on with Andrew. But I'm sorry, I cannot have this rewriting of history going on from Montecito, Rob. Like, I actually find it disgusting that they're even using this low moment for the British royal family to brief the media again.